You're listening to the Parents of Hardworking Teens podcast, episode 145. Figuring out where uncertainty lurks and hides for your teen and their study, where it is gently sabotaging your teen's confidence and results, and how to find it, and then how to turn it into clarity and confidence. I'm Katie Jones, and with over 15 years in education as an award-winning high school teacher, international external examiner, and as a study coach, I've helped thousands of students skyrocket their results and confidence. And this podcast is where I share all my insights, tactics, and tips with you, the parent, so you can help your hardworking teen get happy, smart, and successful in their study, and have you both enjoy the journey along the way. This is the Parents of Hardworking Teens podcast. Hey VIPs, I hope you're doing really well and your teens are doing great. I have had an awesome, busy, but awesome couple of weeks since I was last here with you on the podcast. We have kicked off phase 2 with my summer intensive students, where they are now actioning and applying the training that we did over the summer. I've also got students traveling beautifully through my new and updated version of the 10-week Grade Transformation Program. And we kicked off my next level coaching for year 9 to 11 students and the Finish Strong coaching for year 12s. There has been a lot going on. It is not too late to have your team join us if any of those feel appealing or sound appealing to you, maybe even by the end of this episode. So it's kind of a combination of excitement as we all dive in and get going, but it's also a little bit like the calm before the storm right now, because we're so early on in term and in the year right now that it's kind of the opportunity to build these skills, get everything ready for when the assignments and the homework and the tasks really start to hit, which is why I want to talk to you today about the word uncertainty. And really, it's much more than a word, because obviously it's a feeling, and I've really realized that I'm using it a lot lately with students, when talking to parents, on consorts, in coaching calls, because I think the word uncertainty really gets at something kind of subtle. And that's exactly why I found myself using it. I think it's because it's the most fitting word to describe what is happening for a lot of the students that I work with. These students are not coming to me thinking or saying, I've got no idea what I'm doing. There might be the odd times that they think that or say that, but most of the time they know exactly what they're doing. They just might not be 100% certain about exactly how to go about doing it. Or I should say even more specifically, going about it in the most effective way, or in the way that's going to produce the result or the mark that they're looking for. And they're not sat in class, they're not sat at school thinking, I just don't get it. They're following what they're being taught, they're understanding what they're learning in class, but when it comes to answering exam questions on it, perhaps it's the wordy problem questions in maths that, even though they know how to do simultaneous equations or whatever, they get caught up with certain types of questions, or they can in detail retell the story of Macbeth and what is happening with each of the main characters and what the themes of the play are, but they then struggle to maybe fully, accurately, directly answer the question or provide the right level of detail in their analysis when writing the essay for English. They know what they need to do, they understand what to do. What is lurking in the background, often with students being pretty much unaware of it until it gets pointed out to them, is uncertainty. Uncertainty as to exactly what will get marks and what won't, and why. Uncertainty on how to then get that across, how to write their response in the most succinct and sophisticated way. Uncertainty on how much detail is actually required in each paragraph or for each quote that they're dissecting in an analytical essay, and how to do all of that without waffling on or going off on a tangent or repeating themselves or missing something that was required to maybe move up to sophisticated, when they always seem to get stuck on that level of detailed. They get the tick on the detailed level, but they want to know how to move up into sophisticated. That's something that they're maybe uncertain on. Or they're uncertain whether they've actually written enough for that 5-mark question on the exam paper. Should they be writing a bit more just in case? Do they need to include a definition in their answer? What about an example or a case study? It might be uncertainty over whether they've got enough sources or quotes or references in that research task, or what counts as adequate research or references rather than comprehensive, and how do they move into comprehensive. And there's even uncertainty when sometimes a student will hit the top mark, they'll get the A+, but there's uncertainty as to exactly how or why they got that this time, precisely what made this so good when they might have put in just as much or even more sometimes time or effort into other things previously. And they want to know that so they can build on that for future. There's so much uncertainty about how do you actually get a 20 out of 20 for an essay? Is it even possible? Does anyone get a 20 out of 20 in an essay, or especially an essay in an exam? And it's not a question of, well, what would that look like? Because students can pretty easily go and find an exemplar or model response. But the uncertainty is, how on earth would I do this for myself? For any question that they're faced with. It's these, I want to say small, but it's kind of small but also big when you think about it, uncertainties that are holding them back. They're like invisible strings that aren't obvious, but they're holding them back. And when a few of them add up or layer together, this is when it can start to really cause some stress or dent that confidence a little bit, because there's no one big thing that stands out here to be solved. It's not like you just get a maths tutor to help you understand or be able to do simultaneous equations better, or you find an English study guide from Macbeth that explains what the storyline's about and who the characters are, because those things are already solid. They don't need fixing. And by the way, this is often a problem in itself, because it's often what students and parents resort to buying or doing, totally understandably, because they want to try and do at least something. But then it's those little sneaky lurking uncertainties that still aren't being solved. And that leads to things, if anything, feeling worse, because now time and effort and perhaps money has been spent with no real change. So I really feel like I want to spotlight this, because this is what I've spent quite a lot of time recently doing, is spotlighting these things, because it can be hard to spot them, to pull them out of those blind spots. That's really quite a big part of my job with your teen, with students. One of the first things I've been doing with my intensive students is having them send me previous exams and assessments that they've completed, so that I can start to find those areas of uncertainty. We can start to spotlight the gaps in their skills, in their techniques, in their understanding of some of these concepts, and then we get on with fixing them, turning that uncertainty into clarity and a lot more confidence, and of course the results that come with that. But when they're left to stay lurking in the dark, then this basically leads to guessing. And I know that students are not guessing at the content. They know their content well, but what they're guessing at are things like the best way to study, or to revise for the exam, prepare for the exam, guessing at what the essay question is really asking. They think they know, but when we dig into it, if I ask them a few very pointed questions, very often this will highlight things that aren't yet clear for them. They might be guessing at what's going to be on the mark scheme for the exam question. So they're essentially guessing, what do I need to write? What do they need to see? What do I need to give them here? And they're guessing at that. They're stabbing around in the dark a little bit. They're guessing at how much detail is required, or even guessing at how to try to then actually do some of these things, how to respond directly to the question, how to respond in a way that directly hits the marking criteria, and how to study efficiently and effectively for whatever the particular task, whatever the assessment, whatever the style of exam might be. And I want to highlight some of these things, because I think this is sometimes what can lead to a few outcomes that we essentially want to avoid. So the first thing is that it can lead to procrastination, even in the most committed students. If your teen is ever putting something off a little bit or a lot, it's almost always going to be because there is something that they're not 100% certain on. There's some element of uncertainty about that task, either what they're supposed to exactly be doing, what they need to be producing, or how to go about doing that, or even how to do that at the level that they want to achieve at. Now, I won't go into too much more of that here, because you can go listen to episode 2, why your teen sometimes procrastinates even though they want to get it done, for more on that. Because this can also lead to a lot of wasted time and effort, whether that's having to rewrite drafts that they realize a little bit later are off track. Maybe it's teacher feedback. Maybe they've come to realize it for themselves or through a conversation with a peer. Maybe they're revising or preparing for an exam or just studying in inefficient ways. Or maybe they're wasting time or word count in answers where they're writing more than they need to for the marks that are available. And all of these things together can end up showing up as having your teen feeling stressed because maybe they don't feel particularly in control of their study, or because they are always up against time or deadline pressure because of that extra time and the effort that they are unnecessarily putting in, but they think they need to be. And this also can show up as inconsistent grades, getting those hit and miss results. Basically, sometimes, if we're talking about guessing, sometimes they guessed right and sometimes they didn't. And I really see this happening for a lot of hardworking students. They're doing their best, but they are just slogging away. They are cycling uphill rather than taking that opportunity, or not realizing that maybe there's an opportunity to learn to drive and then get about in the car. They are trying to guess their way to success, even though, and this is probably the ultimate string that's holding them back, it doesn't really feel to them like they're guessing. It just kind of feels like part of the challenge of studying is this uncertainty, as though this is all part of the test. And it really isn't, or it certainly doesn't need to be and shouldn't be. These are all things that students are actually kind of supposed to know. Students are supposed to know how to dissect a question. Students are supposed to know, I don't know how, but they're supposed to know how they can up-level from detailed to sophisticated in those big extended response rubrics. It's just that they're sort of expected to pick these things up and develop these understandings and these concepts and these skills and the strategies and the techniques as they go. And in my experience, for most students, that just doesn't happen. It didn't happen for me as a student, and it doesn't happen for the vast majority of students that I've ever worked with as a teacher, as a trainer, or a coach, or for the students whose papers I have been marking for years and years and years as an examiner. I just really think this stuff needs to be explicitly taught to students. And I want to shine that light on these areas of uncertainty that many students, and therefore, understandably, a lot of parents don't really realize are at play here. So I hope that me sharing some of these is helpful and maybe helps shine a light on some of these uncertainties that your teen might be experiencing. I would love to help your teen turn any uncertainty in their study into clarity and confidence so that everything for them becomes smoother and easier and more successful in their study. And they feel a lot more confident. They have a better life balance because they're studying more effectively and efficiently, and therefore are creating their best possible results. If you would love to have your teen self-study this with everything uploaded and delivered in a structured, proven program, then be sure to check out the new and updated 10-week grade transformation program. It's at www.gradetransformation.com/join. Or if you would like to have your teen work directly with me, then make sure you're on my email list to hear about the next opportunity to work with me in one of my coaching programs. You can get on my email list by requesting my free parent guide at www.rocksolidstudy.com/guide. I will put both of those links into the show notes for you. I will see you back here soon. Have a great rest of your day. Take care. Bye. If you're ready to have your teen achieve their best possible results with less stress, then I want to invite you to enroll them in the 10-week grade transformation program, where they're going to learn the key concepts, skills, and strategies to catapult their performance in assessments and exams. It's risk-free. They either achieve bigger and better results with a whole lot more confidence in 10 weeks, or we refund you in full. Just head over to www.rocksolidstudy.com/program, and I'll see you there.